G'day, it's Heath here from PickinLessons.com. Celtic backup on the 5-string banjo. This is the second lesson in a series for backup banjo in a non-bluegrass style. So here we're looking at Celtic banjo, Celtic tunes. The first lesson was actually all about different chords, major, minor, in their different inversions. So that, for example, and then the equivalent for the minors. If you don't know those chords, it's probably a good idea to go back to that lesson first. Here in this lesson, we're going to apply those chords, but over a particular set of tunes that we find in a Celtic style. In this video, we're going to have a look at the first one of those, which is the jig. And with each style, we're going to have a look at a tune as an example and have a look at a rhythm as an example that will fit with that tune. So there are a lot of variables in how you play your backup, but some of the constants in there are things like the time signature and where the pulse is and where the accents want to lie. So we're going to listen out for that with our examples. So the first one will be a jig. If you head to PickinLessons.com, what we're going to do there is break down the rest of the tunes where we have a reel, a waltz, a polka, and a hornpipe. So common Celtic style tunes you'll come across and different ways of backing those up, all with examples and different variations. Some up the neck, some down the neck, using passing notes, using different inversions, moving between inversions to create some really nice movement in our playing too. The first one we're going to look at though, this jig, we're going to keep it really simple. So here, what we're going to have a look at is the mug of brown ale, and we're going to play along with this example. So there was that opening section for part A. Now the first thing with 6/8 time is, so we're going to use that example and we're going to follow that groove. But 6/8 time, in general, there are two beats. There are two quarter note beats. So 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a, so two pulses broken down into 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We want to accent the beat. We can play around with the other parts of the rhythm, but what we want to also do is lock into the groove with our other rhythm players. So in this example, there's a rhythm guitar, but also the melody too. We want to kind of lock into the melody. Everything's going to relate. The last thing you want to do is play something and your rhythm and your accents fight against it. This is a perfect example where you do not want to play bluegrass backup, Scruggs style backup, against this tune. It just would not work. So there are lots of times where that style of backup is not going to be appropriate, and that's what we're going to look at. Here, the mug of brown ale, there are only three chords. Let's learn those chords first. Let's have a look through them. So we're going to focus on strings 4, 3, and 2, just triads on these three strings. The first chord is an A minor. Third finger and first barring there. The G's up next, third, second, and first fingers. And when we need to, the E minor is basically an open E minor. But again, just focusing on these three strings. So A minor, G, and E minor. So firstly, get to know those chords. Now we are in 6/8 again, and the two beats that we have, they want to be accented. So our rhythm that we're going to use for this example, which will complement the melody and the rhythm guitar, is going to be this. 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a little bit quicker, I'll change to the chords. And so on. The A part and the B part is actually the same thing. So this tune, the chord progression is really straightforward, just keeps repeating. So if we count that rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And feeling the pulse in our playing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's really important. So time signature will really dictate the type of groove we play. Now within that, there are a lot of variations that are possible, but in this example here, using our guide track, you can hear how that is following along and sitting really nicely. So that's really important. So let's just break down what we're playing here, and hopefully, again, with some listening, understanding where the chords are, understanding the time signature and the groove, we can start to build some nice ideas, and particularly when the feel changes for the different types of tunes. So between a jig and a reel and a waltz, they're all going to be different. Really important. They're all going to be different. And the main thing is we want to be supportive. We don't want to detract from the melody. So I'm playing up towards the neck. That's one important thing, but also the feel and the groove we're playing. This is a good use of simple chords as well. So A minor and G and E minor, just triads, nothing fancy. There are so many ways we can use our chords, and we're going to explore that in some of these other tunes, but this one is a really straightforward one. But let's give it a try together. So this A minor, we need 2 measures of the A minor position, and thumb and fingers are doing the work there. So thumb, then the 2 fingers, back to the thumb, the fingers with the pause, and then the fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what we need to repeat. We get 2 A minors into 2 Gs. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Back to the A minor. 1 measure of G, half E minor, back to A minor there. Let's work on that last measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Worth practicing that transition. But that fits really nicely along with the groove of the mug of brown ale. Now that would be appropriate for a bunch of 6/8 time tunes, or jig tunes. There may be variations that you need to fit within that groove depending on if you're playing with another instrument who's playing backup, or if the melody really calls for a variation, a little bit more space in the first beat, less space in the second beat. There are more chord changes, so there are a lot of variables, a lot of factors that can change the rhythm. As we move through, some of these other tunes, when we get to the polka, for example, that's a really quick one that we're going to play along with John Ryan's polka. And so there are a lot of chord changes in there, and we're going to approach that one very differently. So head over to pickinlessons.com. We're going to break down all these different tunes, the rest of them, the reel, the waltz, the polka, the hornpipe. You've got the chart that we'll be working on that has all the examples there. You'll have the play-along tracks there as well, with an example with the banjo and a play-along track, so you can just have a listen and play yourself. So pickinlessons.com, I'll see you there.